Hello and welcome to another edition of Upfront. I'm Carla Berridge, and in the studios with me is Dr. Pierre, and he is the co-founder of what is being referred to as the future of healthcare, and it is called Good Doctor. Hi and welcome to Upfront.
Hi Carla, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate being here.
Okay, so Go Doctor, it's a new initiative. Many haven't heard of it. Tell us, what is Go Doctor?
So, I think you're quite correct in stating that's the future of care. I certainly believe that care or healthcare, how it's being currently delivered, hasn't worked for individuals, especially individuals like ourselves who live in small markets, less developed markets. So Go Doctor has come up with a concept, and I think a way to describe it would be a cross-border telehealth marketplace.
Okay.
Cross-border meaning that one can actually provide or receive care across geographical borders. Telehealth from the standpoint of the virtual consultation aspect of it, and marketplace because there are many providers to choose from, like Amazon is a marketplace, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this come about?
Well, I will tell you, several years in my head, but more so it is because of the last 20 years working throughout several countries in the Caribbean and viewing healthcare and recognizing that when we look at some countries have what appears to be on the surface at least better healthcare systems, we realize that the outcomes are pretty much the same. That people are not accessing care the same way because of where care finds them. So depending on where you live geographically, and even within the same country, or what your socioeconomic standards are, you have the different levels of care you have access to. And the number of individuals who don't have access to care is significant. Most people perhaps don't know that. More than half of the world's population, I'm saying 3.6 billion people, do not have access to the most essential health services. The Caribbean is riddled with chronic non-communicable diseases, things that are lifestyle diseases. Patients are lacking access to the individuals who ideally should be treating those things. And I suspect that it's going to become a challenge for our small countries to attract that talent, to get them to live and work. There's tremendous brain drain. And also, I think as well, too, individuals want to get care at that and don't have to travel for it.
So how does Go Doctor help with these issues?
Absolutely. So the idea is that we believe that care should come to people. We believe that individuals should, from the comfort of their home or office or school, be able to access a medical provider. It takes the average person 121 hours today to access care. 121 hours before you feel that headache, trying to decide which is the doctor, trying to decide where you get an appointment and get in front of the doctor. 121 hours, and that's not good enough. I think, we are seeing the consequences of this. Individuals who die from things that are totally preventable because then they are at the mercy of a system that just doesn't have the capacity to treat a disease that, if caught early, would have been diagnosed and have received care from a much earlier standpoint.
Okay, so how are the persons that we are speaking to tonight, how are they able to access Go Doctor?
Yeah, so again, the first step for us as Go Doctor is to provide mobile, a cell phone, right, a laptop, any virtual terminal that has access to the internet can actually put you in front of Go Doctor. And even if you don't have to speak to a doctor immediately, the idea is that you no longer have to be asking yourself, what is that headache? What is that mole on my face? Because one of the things that we've done very well, and the nexus that we have, is that we've connected all of these devices. So it's a connected care system, a smartwatch that tells you your heart rate and can tell you whether you have atrial fibrillation, now uploads that information. There's a single point for all patients' records. If you see 5 doctors, you have a piece of your medical records all over the place. Nobody gets a 360-degree view of who you are. Yeah. So we want to have all of this in one central place, a master patient record, right? And artificial intelligence. We've seen that AI just recently, ChatGPT, was able to diagnose with 77% accuracy many illnesses, right? And that is just the start of AI. We are developing some of the best AI technology that helps us to connect that telehealth component with the local in-person care facilities. So it's one connected system that creates a seamlessness in the way in which people access care.
Okay, so you have been working behind the scenes with Go Doctor, and As was mentioned a little earlier before we started, GoDoctor has been listed among the top 200 most disruptive and innovative startups. Tell me about that and the effect that it should have on GoDoctor.
Yeah, no, so when we started this, again, we weren't sure we were going to this. We were here in St. Kitts. I thought I should move back to the United States. What do I do? How do I get in front of individuals? Because that requires capital, it requires certain expertise that we just don't have. Thankfully, in building up our pitch and everything, we got accepted into Interplay Ventures, accelerator or incubator. This is one of the largest VC firms in New York. In fact, they actually visited us here in St. Kitts after much convincing. And in May, we came across TechCrunch Disrupt. TechCrunch Disrupt has been the sort of start where a lot of the companies we use today, Dropbox, for example, a lot of these companies that we use today got their start at TechCrunch Disrupt. It's the mecca, essentially, for all tech startups. And we applied, and I can tell you it was a long shot. I never thought that in our wildest dreams that we'd even get accepted or even looked at. Everyone around the world is applying to get in TechCrunch Disrupt. And when we got that, we were accepted among the 200, and I get goosebumps saying it still today, 200 most disruptive startups in the world. And being in St. Kitts, never has the Caribbean featured in this. Imagine the entire African continent only received 3 places. So that is really a big thing. I think that healthcare is top of mind for everyone around the world today. And I think what we're doing is certainly unique, and I certainly hope that the Caribbean, St. Kitts, and the rest of the developing world primarily will benefit from our technology.
Yeah, it really does sound like a big deal.
Yeah.
So what is next for GoDoctor?
Well, next, it seems that when you catch that momentum, it just keeps coming. And before we even knew it, we got an invite to Dubai next month. So we'll be in Dubai at the GITEX conference. And if you know anything about GITEX is the largest. It's the equivalent of a TechCrunch Disrupt, but in the Middle East and North Africa region. Okay. It's the first thing. There's a healthcare pavilion. GoDoctor is given the opportunity to actually design and brand that healthcare pavilion. In fact, the government of St. Kitts was invited as a result of our show, because we actually said we wanted to open the doors of opportunity and allow other individuals to walk through it. So we have the opportunity to actually travel with a couple of the startups from St. Kitts and from the Caribbean there. So and we're on the verge of launching the version 2, which is the release control version, or what is the real solid version of our technology. And hopefully before the end of the year, I think healthcare is going to look a lot different.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who are listening who are excited.
Yeah, I am excited, and I do want to say as well thanks as well to the government of St. Kitts, Dr. Drew and his team. Dr. Drew, as you know, a medical doctor. Again, goosebumps again. I tell you, when those things are very emotional, I want to say thanks to him and Dr. Hanley, Jeffrey Hanley, these individuals, who have been champions for health, and certainly have been very supportive of GoDoctor, and we feel that this is also the wind in our sails, that the government here, who has a very, very forward-thinking sort of approach. I certainly think that is going to be a beautiful nexus between everything that's going to happen in healthcare in the next couple of years, and where GoDoctor begins to play an important part of that.
All right. I want to thank you so much for coming and speaking with us about this innovative GoDoctor.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to hearing more about it.
Absolutely. So follow us on TechCrunch Disrupt, and we'll be posting our social media status and just, stay updated. Thank you.
All right. This has been Upfront. I've been speaking with Dr. Pierre, and he's the co-founder of GoDoctor. More news after this.